Hello everyone, this is Alok Patnia. I'm the founder of Tax Mantra Global. Welcome to my channel Win with Alok. And today in this video, we would be talking about something which is very, very important and which is impacting businesses across the nation, across the industry, and it doesn't matter what size of business you are in. So this video is very, very important for all the business owners, be in services, be in manufacturing. You have to watch this video and take the right action, which we will discuss in this video. Now, this video is talking about the amendment in Section 43B of the Income Tax Act, which was done last year in the Finance Act 2023. And I will tell you what this amendment is all about. So Section 43B of income tax talks about certain allowances of expenses in the income tax return only on the payment basis. That means when you make the payment, then only you will get the allowance of that expense in your ITR return. So कहने का मतलब है कि सेक्शन 43B वो सेक्शन है जिसमें कुछ कुछ एक्सपेंसेस लिस्ट डाउन किया हुआ है इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट ने, गवर्नमेंट ने, कि वो एक्सपेंसेस तभी आपको रिटर्न में अलाउ होगा एज एन एक्सपेंस अगर आप उसको पेमेंट कर देते हो. Right. So let's go deep into this, deep dive into this and understand the impact of section 43BH. BH जो है, H नया provision add हुआ है under Finance Act 2023 and which has got massive impact in all the businesses across the nation. So let me share my screen and start this. I think my screen is visible to everyone. Let me make it full screen. So before we go deep into this, please like my video and do subscribe to my channel. So moving ahead, so as I was talking that the Finance Bill 2023 made a significant change to the Income Tax Act 1961, which is affecting micro and small businesses starting from 1st April 2023. But March 31st, 2024 becomes very, very important. And we will discuss why it has become very, very important. What the government has done, the government is saying now is that all the payment which you need to make to small and micro businesses, those payments, if you do not make within the time prescribed under the Micro, Small and Micro Medium Act, then this will be not allowed in your ITR. That means वो expenses जो है, जो आप small and micro entities को payment करते हो, अगर वो आप prescribed limit के अंदर payment नहीं करते हो, तो आपको वो allow नहीं होगा. Let's move ahead, and I'm using English and Hindi both so that a larger audience can understand what we are talking about. So let's understand what is clause 43BH. So 43BH clearly says that payment must be made within the specified time duration outlined in section 15 of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Act 2006. कहने का मतलब ये है कि जो आप पेमेंट माइक्रो और स्मॉल मीडियम एंटरप्राइजेस को कर रहे हो, वो उसका जो टाइम ड्यूरेशन है जो कि सेक्शन 15 में आउटलाइन किया हुआ है एक्ट में, उसके हिसाब से करना होगा. एंड अगर आपको वो एक्सपेंसेस को अपने इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न में क्वालिफाई करना है तो one more thing which is very, very important, that it is crucial to emphasize that this clause is applicable only to micro and small and not to medium and large. Medium और large पे impact नहीं है, medium पे impact नहीं है, खाली small और micro पे है. We will discuss the definition of small and micro also as we move ahead. Let's read the clause which was brought in. It says any sum payable by the SSE to a micro or a small enterprise beyond the time limit prescribed in section 15 of the Act shall be allowed irrespective of the previous year in which the liability to pay such sum was incurred by SSE according to the method of accounting regularly employed only in computing the income referred in section 28. कहने का मतलब है कि आप इवन दो आप पिछले साल हो सकता है अकाउंटिंग के बेसिस पे आपने अपने बुक्स में डाला होगा, बट जिस साल आप उसको पेमेंट करोगे उस साल आपको आईटीआर में वो अलाउंस मिलेगा. ठीक है. और एक चीज और भी है कि सेक्शन 43HBH जो नया सेक्शन है, सो 43B में और जो एक्सपेंसेस है उसमें एक थोड़ा सा रिलैक्सेशन है एसएससी को कि इफ यू आर मेकिंग दोस पेमेंट, अब चलो आप 31 मार्च तक नहीं करते हो, लेकिन अगर आप रिटर्न फाइलिंग के ड्यू डेट के पहले कर देते हो तब आपको वो अलाउ हो जाता था रिटर्न में। सो फॉर एग्जांपल फाइनेंशियल ईयर 23-24 के रिटर्न में आपको आपका एक्सपेंसेस था जिसने आप 31 मार्च तक आपने पेमेंट नहीं किया, लेकिन अगर आप रिटर्न फाइलिंग के ड्यू डेट के पहले पेमेंट कर देते तो तब भी अलाउ हो जाता था। लेकिन ये जो पेमेंट है 43BH, दिस पेमेंट विल नॉट बी अलाउड इवन इफ यू मेक पेमेंट बिफोर रिटर्न फाइलिंग। वो जिस साल आप पेमेंट करोगे उस साल के रिटर्न में आपको मिलेगा। सिंपल। आई होप आई एम क्लियर अबाउट इट। Moving forward, what is the deadline to make those payments? That is very important. So the deadline to make payment is as per the aforesaid section. It is understood that payment जो है वो 45 days from the date of acceptance or the day of deemed acceptance is agreed. अगर कोई एग्रीमेंट है या कोई टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस है, जब हम एग्रीमेंट के बारे में बात बोलते हैं, इनवॉइस के नीचे लिखा रहता है दिस इनवॉइस इज पेबल within 10 days और within the 10 days of this invoice, जो भी है तो उसको हम एग्रीमेंट मानेंगे। तो अगर कोई एग्रीमेंट है तब उस एग्रीमेंट से 45 डेज के अंदर, अगर कोई वैसा नहीं लिखा हुआ है, कोई टर्म्स ऑफ पेमेंट नहीं है, देन 15 डेज, राइट। सो वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। दिस इज व्हाट इट इज मेंशन्ड इन सेक्शन 15 ऑफ द एमएसएमई एक्ट। ठीक है, लेट्स रीड द क्लॉज। थोड़ा बहुत मैं क्लॉज अभी इनिशियली डिस्कस कर रहा हूं इस वीडियो में, आगे जाके व्हेन वी विल गेट इनटू एफएक्यूज तब बहुत सिंपल और सिंपल हो जाएगा। सो वेयर एनी सप्लायर सप्लाइज एनी गुड्स और रेंडर्स एनी सर्विसेज टू एनी बायर, द बायर shall make payment therefore on or before the date agreed between him and the supplier, and if there is no agreement on this behalf, before the appointed day। ठीक है, एक इसमें ये चीज लिखा हुआ है shall not exceed 45 days, राइट। इसमें एक चीज और है जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, वो ये है कि the supplier has to be, who is supplier has to be the small or medium as per the act, which is wherein the different lag has been provided कि at what turnover or what level of investment you are a micro or small। so वो हम आगे डिस्कस करते हैं। So as I was saying, the enterprise category as per micro, small and medium is defined under section 7 of the act। So अगर आपको माइक्रो हो, माइक्रो मतलब सबसे छोटा, if you are a micro, then your investment into plant and machinery has to be up to 1 CR and your turnover has to be up to 5 CR। अगर 5 करोड़ तक आपका टर्नओवर है और आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट 1 करोड़ तक है तब आप माइक्रो हो। स्मॉल क्या होता है, इन्वेस्टमेंट 10 करोड़ तक चला जाता है और टर्नओवर 50 CR तक आता है। कहने का मतलब है कि अगर आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट 10 करोड़ तक है और आपका टर्नओवर अगर 50 करोड़ तक है, तब आप ये जो 43BH है वो आप पे अप्लीकेबल है। मीडियम इज आउट ऑफ दिस प्रोविजन। ठीक है ना। अभी थोड़ा सा एक चीज जो है वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि चलो वो हम एफएक्यू में डिस्कस करेंगे। थोड़ा सा हम एग्जांपल्स देख लेते हैं, फिर हम एफएक्यू में डिस्कस करेंगे। सो एक प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल मैं लेके आया हूं। Mr. A, who is a proprietor, he has availed services of 10 lakhs from BCD Private Limited, MSME registered business in 23-24। Agreed credit period है 45 days। और अब ये हम देख रहे हैं कि ITR 23-24 के ITR में will they get this expense? So if the date of supply is 10th of May 2023 and date of actual payment is 9th of November 2023, there is a delay of 183 days। लेकिन क्योंकि वो फाइनेंशियल ईयर में ही पेमेंट हो गया 23 और 24 के बीच में, वो रिटर्न में अलाउ हो जाएगा। सो ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है। आपको ये समझ में आएगा कि जो चीज 31 मार्च 2024 को ड्यू है ना, अगर वहां पे डिले है वही डिसअलाउंस है। अगर उस फाइनेंशियल ईयर में पे, तो इवन दो देयर इज अ डिले, बट उस फाइनेंशियल ईयर में अगर पे आउट हो जा रहा है तब रिटर्न में आपको अलाउंस मिल जाएगा। सो दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। इवन इफ that there was a delay during the year, but if the payment has been made by within the financial year, you will still get the allowance of that expense। Only payments which were supposed to be made within a due date, which is either 45 days or 15 days from the deemed acceptance or acceptance date, and if those were not made, if those have been accrued but and become due but not paid by 31st of March 2024, then only those expenses will not be allowed. If I move ahead, so the date of supply is 8th of February, date of actual payment is 15th February. As I said, within 7 days, yes, accrual basis pay, you got it, right? 17 जनवरी को था, अनपेड है अभी तक, ये नहीं मिलेगा बिकॉज ये अनपेड है. सो 31st मार्च को ये 2024 को ये खड़ा है बुक्स में, दिस इज लाइंग एज अ लाइबिलिटी on 31st of March 2024, so this will not be allowed. So any liability which is lying on 31st of March 2024 will not be allowed. So these are the expenses. Now let's move ahead and discuss some of the FAQs, because बहुत से questions हैं, and let's discuss some of the FAQs on this. Number one is that whether this amendment can be made applicable. So there are a lot of questions which says that there are dues which were there on 31st of March 2023. No, since this amendment was brought in from 1st April 2023, any expense which were lying in the books on 31st March 2023 is out of the ambit of this provision. So any expenses which is incurred from 1st April 2023 and which is lying as unpaid as on 31st March 2024 will come under this ambit. So now there is an interesting ambiguity which is there, wherein we do not have a clear answer, which says that are you required to be a registered entity under the Act? So the Act says that you have to file a memorandum with the notified authorities, but the Act doesn't specifically say that you have to be registered and you have to have a Udyam registration. Right. So what we are suggesting to our clients at this moment is that if you are taking services or buying goods from a micro or a small enterprise, doesn't matter if they are registered, not registered, but if they are below 50 CR in terms of revenue and below 10 CR in terms of the investment, then you please follow this law, irrespective of whether they have Udyam registration or not. Similarly, for businesses which are registered under this, you start mentioning that in your invoice. So as I said that I will tell you these few important things which is very important. Start mentioning. So as a person who takes services from small and micro, you can populate a Google form wherein you can start asking your vendors to fill up the Google form. They can attach the Udyam certificate if they have, and they will also give you a declaration that what is their their turnover is less than 50 CR, and they fall within the definition of micro and small under the Act. This you should do. As I said, how to verify whether someone is registered or not? You can go to the portal and verify. That's not a big issue. So it says what if the supplier has not intimated under MSME? See, if the supplier has not intimated, as per law, it might say that and that you are not bound to pay within the time. But however, if you ask me from a professional opinion, you should go and check and take specific declaration. In fact, make this as part of your vendor onboarding, that whether the person is a small or a micro unit or not. There is one more very interesting thing in terms of whether traders are specifically included in this provision. Now, as per Section 2, enterprise means an industrial undertaking or business concern or other establishment by whatever name called. And however, the definition of enterprise doesn't include trader. So this is very important. The definition of enterprise under the Act doesn't include trader. However, there was a official office memorandum and circular which was issued on 2nd of July 2021, which says that you have to treat retailer and wholesale trade under the priority sector for lending purpose only. So what that mean, that for lending purposes, traders and wholesale traders and retailers were brought under the definition, but they are not since they are not covered under the definition of enterprise, तो 43BH वाला जो provision है ये उन पे applicable नहीं है. वो खाली इस डेफिनेशन में उनको लाया गया था खाली lending purpose के लिए, but otherwise this provision is not applicable to them. So if you are taking supplies from wholesale trader or retail trader, then 43BH is not applicable on all those supplies which you take. And the next is, if a supplier is engaged both in trading as well manufacturing, if that is the situation, and if they are within the definition of small and micro, then those payments will be covered under 43BH. Capital expenditure, next question, can disallowance be attracted under section 43BH for dues outstanding in relation to capital expenditure? No, capital expenditure is not covered in this act, because this is specifically expenses which are forming part of the profit and loss account. So if there are expenses which are part of profit and loss account which you have to claim in your return as an expense, only those expenses will be there. Hence, there is no disallowances for non-payment of dues out relating to capital expenditure. So basically what will happen is that there has to be a payment which needs to be made within 15 or 45 days from the actual delivery of goods or services. Hence, for this provision, if the actual delivery or goods doesn't take place till end of the year, no disallowances has to be made. So खाली वो invoice raise करने से नहीं होगा, वो acceptance लेना पड़ेगा कि actual delivery of goods or services हो गया है, right? So that is very interesting. So if as a service provider you have this policy of taking advances before you start the services, and if your customer doesn't pay that advance, then that will not be included. So this will only include for actual services. So actual services can be part milestone based or part services, but services has to be rendered and there has to be an acceptance that services has been rendered. I have already covered this, that even if there is a delay in making payment, be it 15 days or 45 days, but if those payments were made within the financial year, then there is no disallowance and it can be claimed in expenses. As I said, question number 10, what if the buyer makes payment to supplier within 15-45 days, but before filing the return of income? It will not be allowed, because there is a exception which has been created in 53BH, which specifically says that this will not be allowed for expenses, even if those expenses have been paid before the due date of return filing, which is normally जो normally होता है 43B में for other expenses. For this, it will not be allowed. अगर आप प्रिजम्पटिव टैक्सेशन में टैक्स पेमेंट रिटर्न फाइल करते हो, then you are lucky, you are out of this, because section 43B doesn't apply, the complete section 43B doesn't apply to presumptive taxation. इसलिए कोई disallowances नहीं होगा. There is no disallowances because there is no interest. I think interest is a separate thing. So interest will help you if you have still received the payment, but the payment was long delayed. It says 3 times of the RBI rate, which is there. So in terms of, so there is another question number 13, which says what happens when goods reaches late, then how to compute number of days, right? So let us understand this question with help of an illustration, which says that X dealt with a MSME where he received an invoice dated 16th March 2024 with respect to the supply of goods delivered on the same date. E, having an issue with regard to quality of goods, communicated the same to MSME vendor on 18th of March. Both the parties concluded with regard to this dispute, and accordingly, E made a payment on 31st May 2024. In this scenario, as a dispute with regard to this invoice was communicated within 15 days of the date of the delivery, therefore, time limit under section is applicable from the date on which dispute is resolved. And accordingly, as the payment was made within 45 days on dispute resolved, this will be allowed as expenses, right? So, इसमें क्या learning है? Number 1 learning, मैं learning पे आऊंगा बाद में. उसके बाद annual reports जो है companies की, what are the things which we need to disclose in the annual return of the companies? We need to disclose the principal amount and the interest amount due, which needs to be shown separately, remaining unpaid to any supplier at the end of each accounting year, the amount of interest paid by the buyer in terms of section 16 of the Act, the amount of interest due and payable for the period of delay, and the amount of interest accrued remaining at the end of each year. Okay. Now, there are let me stop sharing this and let me just talk about few of the very important things. For example, so what should we do, right? If we take services from, let me first talk about, if we take services from small and micro businesses, what should we do? Number one, हमें 15 डेज के अंदर में जिस दिन इनवॉइस आता है या गुड्स या सर्विसेज गुड्स आता है या जिस दिन इनवॉइस आता है फॉर सर्विसेज विद इन 15 डेज वी हैव, इफ देयर आर सम डिस्प्यूट्स, we have to intimate to the vendor and tell them that this is the dispute. Why either the service has not been rendered or the goods has not been provided with the quality. And if you do that, then your date of payment for those 45 or 15 days starts from the date when you have resolved and both parties have accepted the thing. The moment you raise a point or a dispute, or you raise a point, then you are out of that non allowances problem. Number one. Number two, as a business who is taking services or products from small and micro, start taking the registration and detail of your supplier as a vendor onboarding process. If you have a Google form, fill up that, ask them to fill up the Google form and take that disclosure and start maintaining your books in that fashion where it clearly says in the tally or in accounting, it clearly says that this is an MSME, this is a small and micro business. So that अगर आपको फ्यूचर में लेजर निकालना है ट्रायल बैलेंस में कि मेरा माइक्रो और मिनी में स्मॉल में कितना पेमेंट्स ड्यू है, तो आप विद क्लिक ऑफ द बटन यू कैन टेक आउट, राइट? And you have to, and for the expenses which were due on 31st of March, जो due हो सकते हैं, you will not be able to make payment because there was a dispute or something, invoice पहले से raise हो गया है, you should go and speak to them, right? Now let me come to the point. If you are a small or a micro organization, how would you deal with this? Number one, if you're not registered, go and take registration. Even though having a Udyam registration number doesn't seem to be mandatory, because if you are covered under the definition per se, it's fine. Number two, you have to start mentioning in your invoices that you are a MSME small and micro unit registered, or and having the Udyam number. If you have the Udyam number, please put that Udyam number in the invoice, and also start put the standard terms in terms of what are the terms, right? So I think these are the important points which needs to be taken care of. And as a service provider, if you are a small and micro, you should have a dedicated person wherein you should start informing this to your customers that this is what it is and this will impact the. And we are happy as a firm, we are happy to support you if you need any support in terms of structuring this, or if you have any queries, you can ping me. And I think with this we will end this video. As I said, if you have liked this video, please go and like this video and also subscribe my channel. In our channel, we put a lot of videos which are relating to entrepreneurship, which are related to growth, productivity hack, and we also talk about very deep technical aspects on taxation, compliance, cross-border funding, RBI compliances, as this video it is. So thanks for watching this video. I hope this video has been very useful for you. And as I said to all business owners, please take note of this video and please act accordingly. Thank you. And bye for now, till the time we come up with new video.